Lenovo recently is carrying out a price war with Xiaomi, and the Z6 Pro as they try to compete with the Xiaomi Mi 9. Starting at €380 in China, the entry price is very similar to the Mi 9, yet on paper the Z6 Pro offers better specs. But how good is this flagship and how does it compare to the Mi 9? Let's check it out. When it comes to the design, the Lenovo Z6 Pro is superior to the Mi 9 in my opinion. Especially the black-red version looks stunning. The sleek double glass body has a great build quality and the camera does stick out of the back a lot less. The slightly recessed hardware buttons are a nice touch, preventing unwanted interaction while carrying the phone. The color combination of the black glass with that red stripe on the left looks great, and when you look at the glass under sunlight, some more red lines join the show, looking different depending on viewing angle and light intensity. The front looks stunning with the large screen and slim bezels. Yep, it still has the notch, but it's a very slim water drop notch, thus not very annoying, and in addition it is well integrated into the OS. All notification icons and status symbols are displayed like on a notchless screen. The 6.39-inch AMOLED panel they use isn't as bright as the one in the Mi 9, but still bright enough under outdoor use. It's a high quality Full HD Plus panel with a great picture quality and sharpness. It also supports HDR10, but unfortunately you can't stream HDR content of Netflix due to the lack of Widevine Level 1 support, which gives the Mi 9 a benefit over the Lenovo Z6 Pro. If you are sensitive to screen flicker on AMOLED screens, there is DC dimming support, eliminating the flicker. The 10-point touch panel works remarkably well. It doesn't have gimmicks like Force Touch, but it feels extremely responsive and precise, making it a pleasure to use on a daily basis and for fast typing. The front and back glass is an unspecified Gorilla Glass generation, and while I can see some minor scratches on the back, the front is completely scratch-free up until now. What I like is that both sides of the phone don't attract fingerprints too much and are easy to keep clean without the phone feeling very slippery. Powered by a Snapdragon 855, the Lenovo Z6 Pro is a beast. It offers tons of CPU and GPU horsepower that you pretty much can't max out with any Android apps or games these days. Everything runs just buttery smooth, including the most demanding games like Shadowgun Legends you can see here in the demo. What's quite remarkable is that the Z6 Pro doesn't get very hot during gaming, and heat is spread very evenly across the whole phone thanks to a liquid cooling system. This works extremely well, as you can see in the throttle test. The base model of the Z6 Pro comes with 6GB LPDDR4X RAM and 128GB of UFS 2.1 storage, with the possibility of microSD expansion. If needed, you can upgrade to a whopping 12GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. The phone packs a plethora of sensors, including a gyroscope as well as a compass, which all do work just fine. The fingerprint scanner is embedded right into the screen and it does work very well. It's reliable enough for daily use and quite fast, with an average unlocking time of just 0.5 seconds. There also is face unlock based on the front camera, which unlocks the phone very fast too and even works with minimal lighting. What I like is that I haven't been able to unlock the phone using a picture. What disappointed me a bit is the Type-C port, which only supports USB 2. Initially I thought it would be USB 3.1 since the phone comes with a Type-C to Type-C cable, but sadly the Z6 Pro is missing out in this department. Lenovo are using their very own ZUI 11 custom ROM for the Z6 Pro, which right now is based on Android 9 Pie and the April security patch. I got 2 updates while testing the phone. No matter if you buy the global or Chinese version, you always get Google's Play services pre-installed, so no need for any complicated fixes. Just install the Play Store APK and you are ready to go. The only difference is that the Chinese ROM doesn't support multi-language, but I personally am fine with using my phones in English, so not a big deal to me. ZUI 11 looks a bit like a mix of MIUI and Flyme OS, and in general is a clean looking OS that doesn't leave a bloated impression. For using the phone you can pick between the classic on-screen buttons as well as gesture control. What I dislike a bit about that is that Lenovo uses different gestures than other manufacturers. Swiping from the left or right triggers the app switcher, swiping from the bottom goes back, and swiping from the bottom and holding the finger on the screen jumps back to the home screen. It indeed takes a while to get used to that. Two flaws of ZUI are missing Google certification as well as the aggressive power management, which you have to configure manually in order to make sure to receive messenger notifications in time. The Z6 Pro offers support for a multitude of frequencies including the band 8 and band 20 LTE, but no band 28 LTE. Reception quality is great and the phone performs well even with rather weak signal. Wi-Fi uses AC and 2x2 MIMO and reaches more than 500 Mbit per second throughput next to my router, as well as above 200 Mbit per second one floor below. Bluetooth 5.0 is supported and can cover one floor of an average house. Unfortunately, Lenovo decided to leave NFC out, which is kind of a letdown on any flagship phone of these days. GPS performs above average and often catches more than 30 satellites with a great signal strength. Performance is awesome during bad weather or when carrying the phone in a pocket, so don't expect any navigation or tracking hiccups here. Stereo speakers are what the Z6 Pro is missing, however the single speaker sounds great, at least if you don't go above 80% volume. There is Dolby Atmos support, which dynamically enhances the audio and also applies to the 3.5mm jack. Yep, no adapters required on this one. Call quality is very decent as well, crystal clear on both ends and with proper active noise cancelling. Camera is where things get really interesting. The Z6 Pro actually packs a quad main camera, or if you count the TOF sensor as a camera, even 5 of them. There is a high-resolution main sensor, zoom lens, wide-angle lens and a dedicated video support sensor with optical image stabilization. Lenovo calls this feature Super Video and it's supposed to enhance the quality dramatically. It's more of a gimmicky feature though and not of much use. You don't notice the optical image stabilization at all, and while the video sensor does indeed enhance sharpness and detail of footage, videos still show quite a lot of artifacts. It also is a pity there is no 60 Fps recording and videos are encoded with old school H.264 instead of HEVC. Another bummer is color reproduction. Colors look way too intense and there is a very obvious red tint. When it comes to pictures, the camera performs much better. The standard mode does some great daylight shots that in my opinion look better than the pictures of the Mi 9. There is more detail and the pictures seem slightly sharper when viewed on a large screen. Yes, colors look very intense on these samples, but that's not an issue but a feature instead. Lenovo calls that super quality and it's enabled by default. Once you disable it, colors look much more natural, so just don't worry about that. What did impress me a lot is macro performance of the camera. There is a dedicated macro mode for that and it does just gorgeous pictures. You can come extremely close to your subject while still being able to set your focus. Of course, you can also use the full 48 megapixel resolution of the main sensor, but don't expect any huge improvements. Most of the time you will likely not notice any difference. It's just scenes with a lot of fine details where you might notice a difference when viewing pictures on a large screen. When it comes to low light, the main camera still performs very good. It catches an impressive amount of light without much of a shutter delay, yet still delivers quite crisp images with just minimal noise. The most impressive thing, however, is the night mode. It's so much better than the crap Xiaomi calls night mode. Snapping a picture on night mode takes around 1 second and results are stunning. Often, pictures look like real long exposure shots and there is just a very minor decrease in picture quality compared to night shots in standard mode. What disappointed me a little though is the lack of a real long exposure mode. There is a manual mode, but it doesn't allow you to set any long exposure time, so it's basically useless. The LED flash is really bright, but Lenovo needs to tweak their software here. Often, pictures taken with the flash look too dark, despite the scene being well lit by the flash. Moving back to daylight, let's explore some more features, starting with the bokeh mode. Here I am fairly impressed. Yes, there can be some flawed results from time to time, but in general I have to say that the camera performs outstandingly well. It handles very complex situations nicely and also works at night. In addition, the bokeh effect looks really nice with beautiful light circles. The only flaw is that you can't change intensity of the effect or edit the effect afterwards. The 2x optical zoom comes handy often enough and results look great. I was really surprised that pictures always come out sharp even if you have shaky hands, since there is no image stabilization. It's just night shots where you shouldn't use the zoom, the sensor just doesn't handle low light very well. Same applies to wide angle shots. At night those most of the time look terrible. At daylight however, the lens is extremely useful, does great shots and you really get a lot of viewport. It's a great mode for landscape shots or group pictures, and it doesn't show a lot of distortion. The front camera boasts a whopping 32 megapixel resolution, but that's just marketing. It performs about the same as the Mi 9's front camera, so the additional resolution doesn't add a benefit. Picture quality is really good though, and also low light pictures look okay. There is a bokeh mode that works reliably, and it supports recording in Full HD, where it offers a decent quality too. Battery life is where the Z6 Pro shines. The 4000 mAh battery offers a full 2 days of battery life even with camera and GPS usage, which is quite impressive given the processing grunt of this phone. Charging packs a letdown though. Despite coming with a quick charge 4 power supply, the Z6 Pro only offers quick charge 3 support. Sure, it still charges very fast, but still this is a bit disappointing. So this is it, the Lenovo Z6 Pro. Is it better than the Mi 9? Well, no. As an overall package, the Mi 9 seems like the better choice, with a nearly perfect camera in all categories, NFC support, Google certification and White Wine Level 1 support. But then, the Lenovo Z6 Pro isn't bad either and offers more storage plus microSD expansion and a headphone jack at the same entry price. And it packs a gorgeous design which I personally prefer over the Mi 9. So in the end, both phones are great devices with very fair price tags, so just take the one that suits you most. And that's it for this review. Do you already own a Lenovo Z6 Pro and want to share your thoughts, or do you have any questions left? Feel free to drop all of them down below in the comments. If you liked this video, I would be very happy to see your thumbs up and maybe even a sub to the channel. Thank you so much for sticking till the end, and I will see you guys soon with more reviews. Bye!